Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome to this October 5th edition of Show Business. I come to you, as always, as CP.
And again, Jaime and Fuego from the Horror Show and Infuegotainment.
And I'm Lindsay from My Two Cents of All That Nonsense. How's everyone doing? Glad to be here.
Hey everyone, I'm Chauncey K. Robinson of Twisted Woman CKR on YouTube. And Rotten Tomatoes, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Get that in there.
Real prestige and distinction, yeah.
So real quick, not that it matters, but here's the numbers from last weekend.
Oh, I want those numbers. They matter.
Tenet came in first with 2.7 million. Tenet's just going to make $500,000, making $3 million every weekend. That's all it's going to do. We're going to be talking about
absolutely nothing wrong with that, honestly.
Legs. Hocus Pocus had a re-release this weekend and pulled in 1.9 million for second. New Mutants in third with 1 million. I think that's the same exact number as last week, 1 million.
That's hilarious.
Unhinged with 847,000, and Infidel rounds out the top five with 460,000. So,
box office.
There's that. Yeah. Box office. Yay. Fuego,
like
you have
1950s here.
Yeah. While we're struggling to make a buck, Fuego, China is doing a less than okay.
Less than being an understatement. So maybe these numbers were a little bit inflated because there's a lot of people that get time off of work over in China during this week because it's their National Day, and they also have their Mid-Autumn Festival that they do, and lots of people aren't doing the normal obligations until next Saturday or this upcoming Saturday to specify. But we had two different films at just the Chinese box office that broke 135. So we had My People, My Homeland, which is a Beijing culture anthology film that did almost 138, 137. And then there was also Legend of Deification, that is a 3D animated feature, and that did 136.2 and counting. And seemingly other areas of the world, China specifically, are doing just fine, whereas the North American box office is regrettably crumbling, and everybody is just, dodging and ducking away. Disappointing and sad, as we saw a lot more delays, over the course of just the last couple. So
right, we'll get to the delays, but it's this culture, this new film box office layout that we have is finally starting to have some permanent damage. Some theaters are closing. The chain Cinemark. I had it in front of me. Now I don't have it. Shit. There's a theater chain that's officially closing.
It's Regal.
Cineworld.
I know it's
Cineworld.
Regal. Yeah.
Right.
Regal and Cineworld.
Right.
Well, Cineworld owns Regal, I believe.
Yeah, they're all like some
they're
okay.
connected. Yeah. Okay.
So Regal, I know there's Regals by me. Cineworld, I think, are in the middle of the country. So this is kind of big. Regal is, as far as over here is concerned, the alternative to AMC. So with AMC, apparently they're doing rather poorly and contemplating filing for bankruptcy. So their competitor just shut the doors. And if AMC can't keep afloat, there's no major chain left. This is big. This is big. Yet the studios keep pushing films back. We had early in the week, Bond got pushed back to 2021 out of that Thanksgiving spot. So now there's a wide open movie hole. In Thanksgiving, the weekend of Thanksgiving used to be pretty solid for film. I don't know what the hell it's going to be. It'll just be Tenet again with another 3 million, I guess. And today, just today, right? Dune got pushed back to October of 21.
Yeah.
Yep.
Broke my heart. My favorite movie, my most anticipated movie of the year, at least. So yeah, that was a real bummer. But I can't say I'm shocked in any capacity. So
Especially after that trailer, man, I was so on board for this movie. Yeah, it hurts to see that go, but we got it, sadly.
Are there going to be theaters left to show these things in if these people keep pushing?
Current chains, I'd say no, but there's that thing that happened over the summer that keeps getting forgotten because of everything else that's happening, that studios can now own movie theaters again.
yeah.
So AMC might go away, but who knows? There might be a string of Disney-owned theaters that open up in the next couple of years. Like they just buy out the old AMC. This is apocalyptic.
When did that
scenario.
happen? Was that a new law? New?
In August 7th, 2020, studios can now own movie theaters after a federal judge approved the Justice Department's effort to do away with the Paramount Consent Decree of 1948.
That was Disney. Disney's been behind that. They've been pushing that. You can't tell me Disney hasn't been trying to get that done. They have been lobbying.
I am not surprised at all.
Oh my gosh.
I think all studios kind of are like, all right, good. Let's do it this way.
Wow.
That also might be why they're pushing back, because if they push back, then they could just buy up the theaters after they close. Oh, that feels so evil to say. I hate it.
Wow. That is
Just like a massive restructure.
Yeah.
That was a power move. Whoever's been lobbying for that. That's no wonder they're scared.
Well, the first whispers of it that I can find online were back in November of 2019. So this sounds like it was something that people were talking about for a bit. And then August is when they're like, nope, done. So.
And it's so ironic because remember, we had that extensive discussion just a few months ago before this actually became fact, where we were just like, I wonder if this could happen. And we all gave our proposed theories about it. So self-fulfilled prophecy. God.
And as usual, the chat was smarter than us, and they pointed us to that decree, and we're like, "Oh, cool!" And now it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean that could explain a lot. I mean, if I were a studio, Warner, this could be
the actual Warner Bro.
Right. This makes sense. It's cannibalistic. It's schemy as fuck, but it does make sense.
I am saying with a tinfoil hat, just in case, don't always take things with a grain of salt. But there's a lot of
Chauncey had a hell of a point. Disney has been doing this for years now, where they kind of just like cock block anybody from doing anything, where they would have these moves where it was like all right, we'll give you Star Wars, but you have to put it on 4 screens. And it's like, what the fuck? We don't want to put it on 4 screens. Well, then you can't have Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh. They've already been maneuvering to take over theaters when their movies come out. So now it's like, well, now we don't even have to negotiate with you. We can make our own theaters. I mean, you got Disneyland, Disney World, all those. If they you already have like a group of people in a concerted place already. Why not have your own that you own? Sure. It's funny though, because it seems like if this happens, maybe popcorn won't be that expensive anymore. You know what I mean? Like, that's a small thing, but it's kind of
right.
like
You're absolutely right.
They won't. That's how they make the money, right? But they won't have to upcharge it anymore because it's like, well, all the money comes to us either way. So,
and also if they had like the full-on merch store in there selling like little plushy Mickeys and Ariels and all that other stuff,
So we're looking at a transition of
power.
What we know as power. What we know of theaters, the theater going experience may not be the same. Once AMC shuts their doors, it's all up for grabs.
God, it feels like there's. I just feel like any day now we could just wake up and that's the thing on Twitter is that AMC is gone. It feels like it's like days.
They're broke, right? They don't have any money.
Well, they're asking for more federal assistance, from what I understand.
Oh my!
And because they're like they can only make it for 6 more months, 4 more months, whatever it is. And I mean, where's the money going to come from? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, there's money there. I mean, there's a lot of money in places that they just decide who they want to give it to. I mean, the funny thing is, when I heard about them asking for federal assistance, I was like, "What do you think you are, the banks?" Like, that doesn't work. No, and I'm not even trying to throw shade. It's just like we know who the government tends to bail out, and it's not business owners. It's not. It's the big corporations who pull certain strings and things like that, lobbyists and stuff. It's banks and stuff. It's not going to be, and it's like you can't even go on the angle over essential. I mean, the banks try to pull that. Banks aren't essential; they're devil too. But like they try over essential. Where's all the money? We're gonna have to call in all our debt. It's gonna be a collapse. Blah blah blah. But what can the cinema say?
Yeah.
What's the angle of you need to give us a whole bunch of money? You're not
People
essential.
will be bored.
People won't have a place to watch their movies.
Yeah.
That is the equivalent of Blockbuster coming to someone and being like, hey, there's this new thing, Netflix, we're totally struggling. Can we get federal? Like, no, it's the way business moves on. It's evolution. You can't, it'd be the equivalent of Blockbuster trying to ask for federal stuff. This is what happens.
I'm going to look that up. I'm still curious if Blockbuster.
If Blockbuster asked for a bailout of some sort, it might. I mean, it will be equal to what they're trying to do now. It's like, this is the way things are moving. People have in-home theaters. There's other ways of watching movies. I mean, I get the movie experience, but now with this thing that we were just talking about of the studios being able to take it over, there's really nothing saying they need to be saved at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's the changing of the guard for sure.
It's pretty nasty.
I found a Quora article about this, but nothing more official than that. So I'm gonna say that no, that didn't happen. I got nothing against Quora, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Chauncey brought up. Blockbuster. I don't know about you guys, but for me, like that was a thing. Going to Blockbuster.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday night.
Yeah, touring the aisles, figuring out what the hell I'm going to watch that weekend. And that's no longer a thing. Perhaps movie theaters. I mean, granted, it looks like we're going to have something in the future, but that experience may change as well. And it's just, a sign of the times, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's it does seem like all the studios are kind of back behind the curtain there, just cooperating with each other to push everything back. And don't worry, we'll wait till the last straw, and then we'll and then we'll put out our stuff and buy our own theaters, and it'll be weird. I'm assuming it'll be more difficult. Like, if Disney buys a theater, they're not going to show Warner stuff.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
no, not at all.
You're going to have to go to different theaters for different studios, and that might be a pain.
It's entirely possible.
Which I think would piss off the. Yeah, and it'll totally piss off the consumer too, having to go to those specialized theaters for their specific thing, especially in areas where you're not in a major city, for instance. And I think it'll mess with the box office significantly. But with all of these new implementing of VOD and things of that nature, I'm assuming they're thinking everything will be just fine. So
right.
Imagine a world where to watch the new Avengers movie, you have to go to Disneyland.
Right.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, especially if you're not in major, like I said, like if you're not in major places or whatever, it's gonna be hard, I guess. It might turn into like DC versus Marvel type thing where some people just refuse to go to certain theaters. Like, that's the Disney movie theater. I'm not going there. I'll just be watching Warner Brothers this year. You know what I mean? Like, you just refuse to go to certain ones or something. That'd be funny. I will be one of those people. I'm talking about myself.
Guys, I hear the opening a Sony theater down the street.
I'll do Sony. I'll watch Sony. I'll go to
Sony was Lowe's, AMC was
right. It was.
Yeah. Sony had their own theaters. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Lowe's. Right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So they had their chance. They stole jerks. So there's 2 trailers that dropped since we spoke last. Borat dropped literally right after we went off air last week.
I loved it. Loved it so
much. I think is Amazon. That's not in trouble, right? That one's just straight to VOD.
I think so.
Yeah, it's going to be Prime on the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. So just before, everybody speculated it was going to be theatrical, but just like what's happening with Anne Hathaway's remake of The Witches that Robert Zemeckis did, it's just going right to streaming. They're not even going to hold out hope for a theatrical release. So
it's good. I mean, people should. Sure. Yeah. I'm intrigued. With as much fodder as there is in America right now, you kind of, I'm more than intrigued to see what is up Sacha Baron Cohen's sleeve with a Borat in 2020, because 2020 perhaps needs a Borat, and
I hope 2021 is not a Bruno year. Nah, Bruno.
Although it was a dictator year, that's for sure. I mean, to be fair about it.
And then today, yesterday, Ryan Reynolds' film Free Guy?
Free Man?
Free Man?
No, not Free Man. Is it Free Guy?
I think it's Free Guy. Yeah.
It's Free Guy, yeah, okay.
That's maintaining a December 11th release date, with a trailer dropping yesterday, today, whatever. Looks expensive. I'll say that much. So maybe they need to bring it to theaters, but I don't know. There's just so much empty about these last couple of months that I'm confused as to why somebody is not jumping on this and just. I mean, if Trolls made 100, what was it, 100-something million opening weekend?
Pretty dang good.
Yeah. There's no, like, I'm not even thinking A grade. There's no, like, B grade movies that are coming out on VOD, and it doesn't make sense to me. Even if it were like, I don't know, indie stuff that wouldn't get the time anyway. It's just strange that we're not getting any sort of quality, for lack of a better term. There's just, you look through the VOD and you're like, no.
Well, I feel like, like people are just like, the changing times. Everyone's like, they're trying to resist the fact that they need to do that. They're just not ready to embrace it yet, or maybe it's like a fear of what the shareholders are going to say at the next meeting when they say like, hey, our movies didn't make all this money, and you're like, well, COVID, and you're like, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Where's my money? And like, as absurd as that sounds, it's probably a little closer to reality. By the way, Taika Waititi and Joe Carey are in Free Guy. I really want to see this movie now. That's a great cast. But,
oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Apparently someone's playing Qbert. Like,
yeah,
I hadn't seen the new trailer, but I kind of wish I had now.
Yeah, it's
Wait, I was about to say I'm getting like some Pixels vibes. I don't know.
That is never a good thing.
Cody, hi Cody. Cody says I'm stuck reviewing Blumhouse instant video shit. Enough fucking around. Corona, it's not funny anymore.
Oh, because he did both of the Welcome to the Blumhouses, right? I think there's like The Lie and something else that both dropped today. I haven't checked them out yet, but
they looked like shit.
They did.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like it's October. Blumhouse of all people, you have Run, Sweetheart, Run, which I don't know anything about it, but I know it's whatever. Halloween. I don't know why why that they're not capitalizing on this dead space. Even if not, Candyman is what? Is that still late October on VOD?
No, that got pushed.
No,
it's next year now, isn't it?
Yeah,
next year.
And they didn't decide on what. It's like it's to be announced.
Jeez. Right. See, that one I totally forgot about.
I would understand why they want to do that in theaters, though, because they probably could make a big thing. And the same thing with Halloween, too. I mean, if there's the hope for, I mean, I guess the question is, can you make just about the same amount of money with the VOD as you can with the theaters? And I don't know, has that been proven yet? I know Trolls did well, but that was also probably because people are at home. They probably wasn't going to go out of their way to see Trolls anyway. But hey, I got 5 kids here or something like that, and it's only $20. Why not?
Well,
but
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think, So I think that's the question.
Movie.
Well, yeah, with a B movie, but I mean, even then, it's like maybe they could. I mean, there's been some B movies that people didn't think was going to do well, then they ended up being runaway hits by word of mouth and everything. Everyone started seeing it. So, I mean, I think they're trying to maybe hedge their bets on stuff like that.
Yeah,
and there is also I don't know if this is a thing or not, but I'm going to coin it right now just in case it's not, the Bright paradox. Yeah, so many people watched Bright their opening weekend, but would those same people have gone to the theater to see Bright?
Right.
What, the Will Smith movie?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, maybe because it was Will Smith.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, this is the discussion. Like, it's entirely possible that could have been a huge blockbuster, but it was released on.
But they would, yeah.
So it's like that. It just raises that question. And I use Bright as an example. There's other movies that are the same thing too. Like, would this have done better in theaters, or would this have done better in VOD?
And I think it's that rosy picture, right? Like even with Netflix and stuff, they claim like, oh, we're doing so great, but now they're canceling a whole bunch of stuff, right? It's like Glow's not getting their 4th season. They're not bringing back.
Yeah, they got canceled.
Dark Crystal. I am so annoyed that I'm not getting a 2nd season of Dark Crystal. Like, they're cutting stuff. Teenage Bounty Hunters. It premiered last week. They're already canceling it. So things are, I know, right? And it's like, how? What are you, once again, I don't know what Netflix measures, but I like Netflix. They give me stuff. But like, what I mean? It's like, thing. I like, no judge, no shade. I like you guys. But it's just this whole thing of, there's this whole thing like, why doesn't everything go online? So many people watch them online, but maybe the question, I mean, I don't know Netflix actual like money model either, because they don't do pay for play, but it's interesting that you kind of have to wonder, what are the viewers on, even on things that are included? So with that, if it's kind of low on things that are included, would someone be willing to do it on things where someone has to pay $20 just to watch it, So.
That's also another factor too. You're right. Yeah, when something's free with what you're paying monthly versus that chunk of cash, it's gonna.
I've heard that Netflix like loses money like a sieve.
Oh, probably.
They stay in the red. Netflix stays on the red. It's a few of those. I mean, it's streaming. I mean, Shudder is the same. I mean, I know a lot of people like that, but like it's the same thing. That's just how it is. That's the model when it comes to a lot of online streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, I mean, I guess Movie Pass tried that too. It didn't quite work out for them, but they gave it a try.
And AMC had that figured out too. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was going. A-List was doing amazing for them, wasn't it? Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like. Yeah.
Well, and they still keep trying to get me to just reinstate my membership, and they're like, if you don't opt out by December 1st, we're going to reinstate it for you. I would imagine that has to change with no major releases coming in the next couple months at this point. So I don't know. It's a sad predicament. As far as Netflix goes, I feel like unless it's Ryan Murphy who's behind it, like nothing is safe as far as like a program getting canceled. So I surmise. I still haven't watched Ratchet yet though, although I've heard
it's really good.
Mixed feelings about it. Is it?
Yeah, I'm on the 5th episode. It's really good. It's weird. You're expecting something supernatural and stuff to happen, but I honestly thought it was a prequel to Asylum, which is one of the seasons. I didn't know it was a prequel to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So I'm waiting for stuff to go down, and I'm like, this is very like real world. What's going on? Because I hadn't watched Asylum, so I didn't know. I've only watched a few. I've watched 1984, because it's the anthology, so I pick which season I'm gonna watch. So I'm like, oh, this looks cool, but it's okay. It's good. It has a very AHS vibe to it, even though it's not.
American Horror Story, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what all the trailers look like.
I've tried watching the show so many times. I really want to like that show. I just can never get into it.
American Horror Story?
Yeah, I tried watching the first season and like the one with the scary clown, and I'm like, this is so cool, but then I always just kind of lose interest and fall off.
And then you watch 1984. That's a really good one. If you love all the 80s slasher movies, they do a good job of infusing it and then morphing it into something even better. So
okay, cool.
That was my first season I actually watched.
I didn't know that was a season at all. I love that idea. Sorry, go ahead, Franco.
I was just going to say Coven is still my favorite. That's the one with Taissa Farmiga, Angela Bassett. It's about like warring covens of witches in New Orleans. It's pretty awesome, I gotta say. So.
That reminds me, there's a movie which appears to be coming out this October. I think it's called Spell. It seems like it's a New Orleans-based family that where a dude's he's got a voodoo doll, his grandmother or something like that. She has a voodoo doll, and
the actor from Power is in it. That's a really good trailer. My girl from Waiting to Exhale is actually the main. It looks like the villain in a way, like she's the voodoo priestess.
Yeah, right.
I think it's very interesting. I'm wondering if they're going to pull on hoodoo or voodoo, because hoodoo is kind of like the African American version of like root work and stuff like that, and then you have voodoo, which is more of the Caribbean stuff. They're two different things. It was funny. My mom brought it up yesterday because we were actually talking about hoodoo and my family and stuff, and just and we were just like, this looks very interesting. We wonder like what they're going to play, but it actually looks really good. There's some gems I think that are coming out. That one's going straight to, I think, VOD too, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that one's coming out. There's another one, His House, but that one's on Netflix. But that's another black-led horror
I actually
film.
watched the
There's
trailer
some really
for that,
good ones coming out.
Well,
and we have Tales from the Hood Tree tomorrow too. I mean,
I don't know about that, but
I'm gonna watch it. I love that first.
You're on a streak until you name it.
Yeah. Thanks for the brick wall, Fuego.
By the way, I didn't know voodoo was a thing. So in Labyrinth, that voodoo, you do hoodoo, like that's funny.
It's actually a real thing. It's hoodoo, yeah.
That's okay. I love that movie so much.
Well, I was about to say that if you take that cast out from this Spell and just make it a bunch of white people, it still sticks. It doesn't have to be a black cast, but it is. And this is one of those movies where like it kind of plays into that argument I've had where like it doesn't matter. Just do a story. Just do a story. It doesn't matter who it is. Just worry about having a good movie and then fill it out. And that's what Spell feels like. It feels like, it doesn't necessarily have to be black people, but it is. So that's awesome. It doesn't feel heavy-handed or shoehorned or anything like that. And good. I think we're progressing a little bit.
I think it's also good in the sense that you have certain, I think horror has, made some strides in being very open to, lots of different representation and stuff like that. Although there's ways to go depending on like if it's a mixed cast and things like that. But I think what you have at this moment, because of the fact that the theaters aren't open as readily, is that you have a chance for certain films that might not have gotten as much play to totally maybe be able, like this movie, like the movie Spell. Like I saw that trailer, I was like, whoa, I want to watch this. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the other one, His House on Netflix and stuff like that. And even The Haunting of Bly, I think it's Bly Manor, the one that one, it seems like they incorporate a lot more African Americans in that one too. And it's like you have these chances that maybe it wouldn't have gotten as much play in the mainstream theater. Maybe it got swallowed up by other movies, but now they have a chance. And I mean, that's kind of always been the way a little bit, where certain movies wouldn't get as much play that maybe have like a cast that's predominantly of color and stuff. And here's this, it's kind of an equalizer in a way, because people are kind of like, well, maybe I will give this a shot. You know, I'm here, why not? Yeah.
Interesting. Well, what's it called again? Spell, I think you said?
Yeah.
I believe.
I think you said Spell. I didn't remember the name. I just remember the trailer.
I know it's one word, starts with S.
Probably Spell, yeah. It looks really good.
It sounds dope. I'm interested.
Yeah, no, I saw the trailer too. I don't remember where I saw it or whatever, but I remember thinking, awesome. Well, this is a horror movie that, well, it may not be a horror movie. It might be a thriller, because I got some faint Misery vibes for.
Yeah, right. I felt like it was Misery with hoodoo in it. I was like, oh, she got like this Misery with like powers, root work going on. Like, okay,
the dude up in her attic or whatever, and And I mean, the trailer might have shown you the entire movie, but I'm still intrigued. The cops show up to the house and she pulls his tongue out, and
there's some parts where I'm just like, yep, that's. It was funny. Me and my mom were just talking about all the like superstition or hoodoo things that we have, like from like lineage, family stuff or whatever, and like just some of the things she was saying. I was like, oh my God, that's my grandma. Like, you know what I mean? Just things like, you know, you bury a man's underwear in the backyard and he'll never leave you. Things like, you know, it's just like, I'm like, that's okay.
Whoa,
like,
okay.
That's intense.
No wonder my underwear's always going missing. Come on, guys.
Exactly.
And I thought it was those goddamn underpants gnomes from South Park, man.
I share my underwear. So what does that mean?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Yeah, we were just going through a lot. Like, don't ever buy. I always learn, like, never buy a man shoes or he'll walk out of your life. Things like that. Like, there's it's a superstition, but it's also root work. You know, voodoo, and with hoodoo, it's like voodoo and other witchcraft stuff in it, not necessarily Wicca type thing.
Cool.
It's interesting kind of seeing it hit a little bit more, especially with black faces on it. Because sometimes when you see the witch movies and stuff like that, it's, you know, it's usually white people, but it's kind of cool. And it's usually the Wicca thing. So it's cool that they're doing, and it's always sometimes very voodoo heavy. So I think it'll be interesting if they don't just play it with that and they kind of play into maybe the African American spiritual magical work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it feels like whenever they do kind of do that with like kind of a more black cast or something, it does kind of go for the more that kind of more spiritual, that more tribal type of magic, as opposed to. I think that's really interesting.
Isn't it heavy in the region, New Orleans? Isn't that like that? That's kind of a thing that's part of that region, if I'm not mistaken, right? That culture.
Yeah, but yes, there's voodoo because, you know, you had you probably remember in Coven, Angela Bassett is the famous voodoo queen there. That's who she plays.
Yes.
And so, but it kind of mixes because like you have the voodoo and then you have like hoodoo that came about, but more so that was with African Americans, which was like a play, which had some voodoo elements. And yes, and it's mixture down there in New Orleans as well, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because like from the trailer, I was like, oh, this has got to be New Orleans. It just feels that part of the country.
It would be cool if they explored in other places too. I mean, that comes with the whole thing, like the Craft trailer that came out recently.
Oh, that's what dropped. That's what dropped.
That was the
then
other
I
one.
saw Spell. And then I saw Spell, and I was like, that's how you want to see it. Like some, you know, good dark stuff like that. Not this, I don't know what that was. I mean, because I'm not one of those people who thinks The Craft is like the holy grail of witch films. I'm really not. Like, I'm fine with the remake.
You're not a 15-year-old white girl? That's crazy.
No, right? No, but, you know, everyone's, because that's the thing about remakes. And I can be that way, too, depending if I love something. I think we were actually talking about, if we ever had a problem with it, Zac Efron being tapped for I
mentioned that. So he's been cast as the presumed father in the new Firestarter film, and I was bitching about it on social media and talking to a few other people, and then I looked and I'm like, wow, the guy who played the father in the original 1984 film was 30 when he made it, and Zac Efron is 32 right now, so he's technically older. He's 32, yes, but it's something, he doesn't look like dad material to me, and that's one of the reasons why I'm averse to it. I mean, I don't know if we want to talk about it any more in depth than that, but just Jason Blum remaking a Stephen King property, everything at this point, which is the vibe that I almost got from the new Craft trailer. It kind of felt a little Black Christmas to me.
Oh, no.
Guys, come on, David Duchovny.
David Duchovny.
Aside from that, and I mean, it's cool that it's a direct sequel. I'm a fan of that, but I'm with Chauncey, where I think maybe I had more fun with Practical Magic, for God's sake, than I did The Craft, if we're talking 90s witches movies. So
Practical Magic was good too. Yeah, I thought The Craft had its moments, but I think that's what it is. Sometimes when it's connected to our childhood and stuff, people are like, why are they destroying my childhood? But I was actually open to it. I was like, you know, this might be a nice way of taking something different. And then I saw the trailer, and I was like, oh, this is not Like, this isn't, and it was very, I don't know, people, hopefully, I don't know if y'all watch Riverdale, but it's like, you know how they do this thing where they take something, yeah, I know y'all don't watch Riverdale, but they take something like the great Archie comics and try to make it really edgy, and Archie's like having sex in the friggin' shower with Veronica, stuff like that, where it's just like, why are you tainting this comic with this, you don't have to make this, right? You don't have to do that. And I feel like, and I don't know if it was just the fact that maybe back in the day, we had, not far back in the day, but back in like my high school years and stuff, maybe it was because like Dawson Creek and them were played by like 27-year-olds playing 15-year-olds and stuff. But this new cast, they look 12. And I like some of the actors, but they look very young. Right. They don't look like they should be 17 years old. So it's hard for me to take it seriously. If people, have seen the previous Craft, how there was something very, I don't know, dark about it too,
What was the last line in the trailer? Something like, I gotta be careful, there's a lot of weirdos out there. And then the girls are like, where are the weirdos?
Yes, it was like, Mr. Sometimes thinking they're like, Mr. We're the weirdos. And it was like, no, don't do that.
So on the nose. So on the nose, man. I tell you.
We're the weirdos, mister. I was like, okay. Like, not this.
Yeah, there's so much great Halloween stuff that's coming out this month, and primarily on the VOD in comparison with some of that other stuff. I mean, between Clive Barker's Books of Blood on Hulu that's coming out. I just watched one on Shudder this past weekend called Scare Me with the girl who plays Stormfront on The Boys, and it's her and this other guy just trying to freak each other out on Shudder. It's fantastic. By
the way, The Boys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So good. Yeah, it's a clogged congestion of stuff, but and a few things are coming on, both home release and limited theatrical. Save Yourselves is one I was going to ask if you guys had heard of. It's kind of a sci-fi comedy with Sunita Mani, John Paul Reynolds. It debuted at Sundance way back earlier this year, but it's in limited theatrical right now, and it comes on VOD tomorrow. That's one that it's about these two. This couple that basically self-isolates, and they're like, we're not going to use our phones or social media or anything throughout this entire weekend. And just lo and behold, when they decide to do that, an alien invasion transpires, and it's like delightfully comedic. It looks really fun. So that's another one that was supposed to be a big theatrical thing, and it's just getting limited at whoever's going to carry it, and then it's VOD. So I mean, there's good stuff to seek out this month, but yeah, the box office, as we've all lamented, has been decimated. So what are you gonna do?
Well, does anyone really want to see Unhinged? I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but it's just not really I must go watch this during a quarantine movie.
An hour and a half of road rage.
Yeah. And I'm down for that. I'm not hating, but like I don't know.
Why does Russell Crowe feel totally right for that part too, by the way? I don't know why. I'm like, yep, that's exactly who I'd picture in that position.
They're like, where's Tugga? My God.
Oh, I hope his car is named Tugga. That'd be so good.
So what else is you mentioned horror? I mean, you mentioned
horror. Go ahead. Oh, I was going to say.
You've got
I watched Enola Holmes this week. Is all I was going to say. It's not a horror, but it's a somewhat recent movie. I was going to see if anyone else had seen it.
No,
I heard good things though. I heard it was considered really good.
I really did like it actually, and I thought at one point it was going to go in one direction. It was going to be annoying as it referenced some kind of a history thing. I thought it was going to go a little too on the nose, but it actually it really embraced kind of the darker side of, if you guys know some of the turn of the century like suffragette movement and stuff like that. It didn't just try and cash in on it. It's like, hey, this is a girl power thing. And like, no, we're actually kind of going to explore this a bit. And I'm actually related to someone who was from the suffragette movement. So seeing it kind of like going into kind of the darker sides of that, like, this is really good. And it's also an adorably cute kids movie about solving mysteries at the same time. It's kind of great. I really liked it. And Superman was really good as Sherlock Holmes.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, sorry. That's my quick review of the week. I saw that earlier today.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been watching old stuff.
Cool.
Stuff. I just watched
Same.
Critters 2 today.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
A rare Easter horror film, actually.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the lupus.
Yeah.
Should be titled Cheeseburgers. We like cheeseburgers.
I
So
watched
there
Dead
was one
Zone
that I-
last night.
It still holds up. That was a prophetic one at this particular point, with all the Stilson stuff and the Cheeto Man connotations.
Wait,
that
it
we
was
got
very
in the last
Dead
years.
Zone.
Dead Zone.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was very relevant. I was like, oh yes, that and the Mask of the Red Death. I watched that yesterday as well with Vincent Price, and that was the play on the Edgar Allan story, and that was very relevant of the prince in the castle not paying attention to the plague until it comes to get him
Tough
for
stuff.
reasons. You can always learn your life lessons in horror. That's the truth right there. You learn a
Amen.
It's
lot
an
of life.
evolution of fairy tales, right? In a lot of ways, and that's what fairy tales is about, instilling life lessons in people.
There was actually a recent study that came out. Someone actually tagged me in it, where it said that horror people who are into horror movies and have a morbid sense of reality are more prepared for this pandemic.
I can see that.
I most definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that and like Greek tragedies too kind of play well, don't they?
Yeah.
Like irony and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There were Greek tragedies that played with irony in very beautiful ways. This is very true.
Yeah, I can't name any, but I just know there's a lot of
Oedipus, the
stuff.
most famous of them, is it's fairly ironic.
Jacob in the chat asks if anybody saw The Possessor. It's a David Cronenberg Sons movie, released as NC-17.
Yes,
since
Brandon, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking I'm going to go and sit in a very small local theater that's only selling like a dozen tickets because it is like as small as can be. And I think I'm going to watch it tonight, right after we get done doing this. So,
Fuego just braving movie theaters.
I know.
You're a braver man than I, sir.
Indeed.
Why is it in NC-17?
Oh.
Good question.
Well, if you've seen Antiviral, it's a similar body horror variety to the stuff that his father has done, and the version that I have the opportunity to see is an uncut version. So I know the rated version is in fact NC-17, but there's an even like slightly longer cut, which is what's in theaters right now. So it's not even rated. I think it only adds like a minute or two, so presumably like lingering on those gore shots a little bit longer, but. Once again, about experimenting on people, and lingering effects of nastiness after going through these sort of like medical trials where they're paid and the horrible things that are there afterwards. So, Jennifer Jason Leigh and a few names that I'm not familiar with, but the trailer didn't wow me, but since Antiviral was so just kind of depraved and strange, I'm very curious. It got tons of festival buzz. So, show me something that, is going to shock me a little bit. After this year, I'm like, what else could shock me, after what we've experienced in the real world. So I think
I'm starting to get with Chauncey as far as movies in 2020. I watched Babysitter 2, whatever the fuck that movie's called. I didn't enjoy it so much, but it was goofy. Killer Queen, that's it. I didn't like, I didn't like the first one so much, but I was okay. I felt the same way about this, but like, it was something that I felt like I needed. Like, oh, okay, it's Doofy. I'm okay with Doofy right now. Give me more Doofy because this year sucks. I need something wholesome and silly and just fun. Where's the fun? Damn it.
I think it's probably why I threw on Little Nicky of all movies last night, because I wanted something that was kind of October centric, but just really stupid and would make me chuckle. Yeah.
Hubby Halloween is coming out. That's his next one, the Halloween movie of Adam Sandler. I'm actually really looking forward to that. That trailer, actually, I was kind of excited about it. I was like, this looks like a really good, fun Halloween movie.
Is that going to Netflix? Is that
Netflix?
It is. Yeah. October 7th. That, and they actually, just like Hulu, they have like curated bit of spooky stuff. I mean, they just put out the Bronx versus Vampires that I was curious about.
Yeah, I actually want to
Everybody
watch
and
that.
their mother's
That came
talking
out
about it.
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like 17 new horror releases coming out just this week between all the streaming platforms and VOD and everything. Who knows how good any of them are going to be? But I mean,
right.
Are they trying to front load them so that they're all out before Mandalorian hits at the end of the month or something? Or
Well, no, they're trying to capitalize on the. I mean, everybody and their mother's doing 31 days of Halloween. I mean,
I guess that's true.
You could throw a stick at all the YouTubers who do stuff every day in October.
Are you doing that this year?
No.
Although I did watch the Requiem video, man, that was fun. That was really fun.
Yeah. Thank you. See,
yeah,
I need my wife to be in the videos for it to be good.
Well, it was some depressing observations about that movie, and I haven't seen that in forever. And I was just like, do I really want to put my copy on and relive all of this torment?
It's weird. It's a very flashy movie, but like it's juxtaposed with this just terrible. There's nothing good about that movie at the end. It's just awful. It's just drugs. The movie, real life.
Yeah. Loss of arm, Marlon in prison. Like it's a bad time. You know, if I'm going to put it like that, it doesn't leave you happy.
I mean, it certainly is fitting for 2020, I guess. I mean, that might be it. But
has Aronofsky ever made a happy movie?
Oh my God, that's a good point.
Noah,
like I don't mean that to be critical.
Really? Yeah. He was Mother, right? He made Mother.
Oh yeah, Mother's the happiest movie of all time.
I love that movie. I don't care what anybody says. That is just as dementedly deranged as anything I've seen in the last number of years. It's so weird.
100%.
It just made me feel anxious the whole time I was watching. Yeah. Like I felt on edge in the whole movie.
Oh, yeah. Cecil, get out. We do 365 days of Halloween. Woof.
Except when it's a leap year, in which case they take one day off and work the other 300.
Oh.
Well, they got to take a break eventually.
And we call it 300-666.
Oh.
There you go. Okay.
I think Clive Barker's Books of Blood is also going to be coming on Hulu soon too.
Oh,
yep. That's also on the
making it into, So there's a lot coming. There's some good stuff. Oh, yeah. It makes sense because Hulu was tapping into a lot of Stephen King with the Castle Rock series and stuff like that. That they are now moving over to Clive Barker. So.
Yeah, because JJ is doing Overlook Hotel for HBO Max, so presumably no more Castle Rock on Hulu. He's jumped ship. So
Emily had a hell of a point. Like, why don't they make a show that's just based in Maine and just have it be all Stephen King shit, where everything's in the same town, or maybe it was an idea for a video game. Like all that Stephen King property basically takes place in a very near I don't know, map or whatever. It would be interesting to just cover like the entire area as a show, and one episode you could be doing it theme stuff, and another episode you could be doing like Cujo theme stuff. I don't know.
I feel like Castle Rock is sort of like that though, wasn't it? Because there's even with Dead Zone. In Dead Zone, there's a Castle Rock reference. It's like one of the first times, there's always this reference to Castle Rock, and then they finally did Castle Rock, which is kind of like everything kind of leads back to it in a way, or whatnot.
Isn't that Stand By Me too? Isn't Stand By Me take place in Castle Rock?
I think so.
Stand By Me is Castle Rock. The Dead Zone is Castle Rock. You guys are talking to the resident Stephen King obsessive.
Okay,
Get on it. Let's go.
Well, Dead Zone was the first Castle Rock story, and then Cujo was a Castle Rock story. Stand By Me was a Castle Rock story. Needful Things was a Castle Rock story. He's set tons of stuff there, and even if he hasn't set it there, since there's all these neighboring towns like Ludlow, where Pet Sematary takes place, and Haven, which is where the Tommyknockers takes place. They're all these almost like sister towns that are in a close approximation to each other. So Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He's
If
it's all about his multiverse and all of his shared universe type stuff too. King was one of
A
the first to
video game would be
really
cool.
really push it home.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
yeah, open world, yeah.
Yeah. Have like
I would
Pennywise,
love
and
it.
then maybe he's a spider, and then or
Yeah.
maybe he's or maybe then the turtle comes out to battle him or something. There's a
Yeah.
turtle, right? There's like a lot of stuff there.
Reaching deep with this, Shannon. Yeah.
I'm impressed. Yeah. That would be kind of a fun thing, like a world where you just wander around, like, oh, something weird is happening at this house. Okay, so which story is this? You have to like
Yeah.
figure out, like, it's the Langoliers, or I mean, I guess actually that wouldn't make sense. That's like the final boss of the game.
Yeah. Like you just deal with zombie pets if you wander to or zombie people.
Or then you have like Johnny's powers, like you touch somebody and it's like you can see what's gonna happen or something. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. That's a great, copyright that. Send that over to Stephen King. He's too busy. Like right now, he's all on Twitter, condemning a certain somebody. But rightfully so. But he might be open for a video game. Although I feel like Silent Hill video game is something like that. I mean, it's not based in stories, but it's very as much like when you go around, you fall into different things and different kind of, Resident Evil a little bit too. Yeah.
That'd be a very crazy crossover.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see a Silent Hill game like written by Stephen King. That would be so dope, actually. Holy crap. Let's get that. Guillermo del Toro directing like he was supposed to do for that one Silent Hill game that never happened, and boom, money.
Yeah, is that possible? if somebody wanted to theoretically either do a show or a game, is Stephen King, like, do different studios own different pieces of King's work, Fuego?
Oh, that's an interesting.
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of different studios that have optioned his work currently. I actually have been wanting to make a Stephen King short film for a while, and he has
dollar, right?
Well, he has this thing called Dollar Babies that he's been doing since the early 80s, and it's where he lets young and independent upcoming filmmakers option one of his short story works. So not any of the big novels that are typically tied up with bigger studios, but he allows them to option it for $1. And the only thing is they can't make it for profit. It can only be on like the festival circuits and stuff like that. But as far as just a showcase of your particular talents, and he has a constantly updated list on his website where he basically says what short stories are not tied in with different studios and are up for. I was actually looking at it just yesterday, and I was like, I don't think anybody has made the Reach, which is about this old woman who's lived on an island her entire life, deciding to finally walk across this frozen reach of water, and she sees all of her loved ones. And I was like, man, that could be a really awesome short film. And there's dozens of others. And so, I mean, it's something I look at a lot, and just kind of spin the wheels a little bit. But yeah, there's
a lot there for sure.
Yeah, so
I was thinking about watching Sometimes They Come
very
Back.
accommodating with his fans. Yeah. That's one that I would love to see remade because the short story is so creepy.
Yeah. I was gonna watch. I remember watching the made-for-TV movie sometime back or whatever. Maybe when they reshowed it, because I don't know when did it come out, like the 90s, something. And it was like the made-for. I was like 7, I think then. But like later on when they showed it or when it was on VCR. Like I looked at it, and I think that's a really good one to be remade. Although they started doing like Sometimes They Come Back Again and Sometimes They Come Back for More or something, which is I think the sequels got kind of weirdo. But like I think the first one, there's a lot there. If someone remade that, because that was a short story too. It
was Yeah, and they kind of children of the corn that property after a while. So, as far as just like silly stuff that had
Sorry, Fuego. It seems like we're stepping on each other. You're a little.
I know I'm
a second delayed.
I know I'm a little slow. It's been irritating me the whole time. So I apologize to you guys. I closed all programs.
I'm just letting you know that like it seems like we keep interrupting, but you're like a half a second behind us. So like I'm just letting you know it's not on purpose. It's
what's happening is you're too perfect for your internet, so it's slowing it down. Like the bandwidth isn't enough.
He's ahead of us. He's ahead of us. That's how awesome he is. He's a full half second ahead of us.
Yeah, it's been a hot moment since we've encountered this problem, at least to this sort of degree. So I hope it's not messing stuff up too much, guys. Apologies.
No. It's just but we're good. We're good.
What's the problem? You'll know. No.
Yeah. So anybody have plans for the week? Fuego, you said you're going to check out Possessor tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm going to check that out this evening. Another one that I watched just the other day, which was great, was called The Pale Door. It's a Western witch kind of movie, very similar to From Dusk Till Dawn, in the fact that it's about a botched train robbery, and these bandits, they go and they end up at this brothel, and turns out it's a coven of witches, and it's got some great practical, very, very solid performances. So that was one that I liked. And just debating if there's anything else really theater-wise that I feel the need to really go out to watch when there's so much to watch at home. So
much to watch at home.
Yeah.
Well, does anybody have plans to watch anything this week?
I'm always kind of skimming the local. I'll drive pretty far for the drive-throughs to see if there's anything like interesting showing up. And so if one of those does, I'll definitely go do that, because that'd be really cool to catch like Return of the Jedi or something like that on a drive-through.
Yeah.
Not that Disney would allow that, but some other good old movie. But nothing has actually really caught my eye. I almost saw Empire Strikes Back when it was in like a week or two ago.
That was 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah.
It's actually still out there.
Oh, is it? Ooh, maybe I'll go see that this weekend then. I mean, it's no Return of the Jedi, but it's good.
It's all right.
It's fine.
It
It's, one of the top 10 movies of all time. It's fine. It's fine.
Is there anything particular you're planning on checking out, Chauncey?
Well, I'm not going into any theaters.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there.
But I want to do. Well, that's kind of far out for me. I'm like 40. I feel like I'm 40 minutes away from most of the theaters. And I feel like, I don't know, I'm the kind of person, when I go to a theater, I like the idea of the drive-in, but it's also that conundrum of I want like, the drink or something or whatever. And it's like my boyfriend would have to drive back, and that's not good. You know what I mean? So, it just seems, I don't know. Like, you want to go to the bar in the theater, or whatever.
Oh, and that kind of drink.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's bars in the theaters. Yes. And you can't do that if you're in a car. That's just
got a cup holder. What do you mean? You got a drink?
Exactly. My boyfriend, he used to work. Well, he still does work, but this is once again with the whole thing with the cinemas, right? Like he's been waiting for months about the go ahead if they're going to get to go back, and he's a bartender there. At the place. So, what?
At an AMC, or what theaters do you work at?
At the Pacific Theater, Grove. So the fancy one over there or whatever. They got like really nice bar and stuff, but they've been also off for like going on 7 months or so. So, and I used to get to go in for free. So like I'm staying home, but I do want to catch up on Adam Sandler's one. Like this, I'm not usually the biggest fan. I do like Little Nicky. I did like that movie and The Waterboy. And there was one other one I did like. I think the one about the remote.
Click.
Yes. I did like Click. I went to the theater to see Click when it came out years ago.
That's
I actually still
essentially.
I still contend that Wedding Singer might be his best movie, as far as like just being heartfelt and fun and romantic and cute and stuff like that. So that's a good one.
Uncut Gems was really good too, but that wasn't like a comedy. But Uncut Gems was like one of his best works. But that wasn't his script.
I was just stop being so annoying.
He did? Oh my gosh, I love that about him. That was the thing where you're like, this guy is so grating, but also you see why he's like the way he is. I don't know. I just
fuck up at the end.
Yeah, you just kind of hope that he doesn't F it up, and
he's a scumbag in that movie. Oh boy.
In a way, I don't know. I feel like he was just playing the. I feel like he was just playing the game. It's just like he's in a world of people who kind of take the bets and things like that, and he was trying to get an upper hand, but he just couldn't with other people's money, and that's what you never do. If you can't really make it back. But I think it's Hubby Halloween. I think it is the Halloween one. That I'm actually really excited about that because it looks like an all-star cast up in there, like Maya Rudolph. All types of people are in there. So that should be a lot of fun. That comes, and then Haunting of Bly Manor is coming out, I think, this week too. Like I think on the 9th though. So I'm looking forward to that one. And I'm still finishing up Ratchet. Yeah, I haven't started season 2 of Doom Patrol. I've been wanting to, but I haven't gotten around to it.
I should watch that already. Between Fuego and a buddy of mine that I used to work with, I think I'm missing something by not watching this.
It's really good. It's really the first season anyway is really good.
Okay. That and Harley Quinn. So I need to get my DCL access or whatever back up and running so I can watch the 2 of those.
Harley Quinn ends. I felt like it got real predictable, but then again, maybe because I don't ship a certain ship that they try to cram down our throats. I think that's why I kind of wasn't feeling it. But yeah.
Well, you're trying to say that they try to write together Doomsday and Harley Quinn? Because I will stand that. No, it's a horrible thing I've put in my own head now. Stop.
Fargo restarted recently with Chris Rock as the lead.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, you want to talk about ageless people. Chris Rock still looks 25, 30, whatever. Guy's got to be at least 50 by now and looks fantastic. But they're doing the regular 1 a week thing. So I'm trying to like gather enough episodes where I can kind of binge it. But I think they're only up to the either 2nd or 3rd episode of that. And I might be watching that. I might be checking out this Possessor movie if it is on VOD. My uncle might have to give me a call. But other than that, I think I'm just waiting for more cancellations and pushbacks.
I know it's coming, but I'm also dreading the Wonder Woman announcement that's good. Because
why
that's
are you so hung up on that?
That's the last one. Is there another big movie left this year? I think.
Well, that one was pushed to Christmas, right? So it was originally supposed to be this month in October, and then it got pushed.
There's
to
like
Christmas.
3 big ones around Christmas, I thought.
Well, they just pushed back James. Now this, like, is that too?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That might have been the 3rd one, right?
I'll check.
That's not coming out this year. That's not coming out this year. They're not releasing that.
Yeah.
Huge flex on VOD.
Coming to America is listed as December 18th.
I feel like I think they might put that on VOD just because it's a comedy. So maybe they might be more willing to think people would pay for that. Or play, be more. It might have made the same amount that it would have made or something if it was in theaters.
Right. No, I'm with you. Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll pull it back. Yeah, they might do VOD. Well, I don't know. I don't think they'll push it back. I think maybe they do VOD for Coming to America.
Yeah, well, it's him reteaming with the guy who did Dolomite Is My Name, and so maybe it ends up on Netflix. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, why wouldn't it? Why it could totally. I think that would be fine. I think people would be fine with that. I don't think that would be a loss on their part. But like, I think the big action movies, I think there's something about that theater experience, especially the people who make it. They just don't want it to be on the smaller screen. So I just feel like they're gonna push it. I think what I'm preparing for is when we start going into January and stuff, and February and stuff keeps getting pushed back. Because that's probably going to happen too.
Yeah.
Because this ain't, we're going towards the end of 2020, but the way everything is going with the whatever, I just don't see it. I think some of these dates they're already given is still going to be pushed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Half the government got it because somebody's a little reckless.
Chester Cheetah.
Yeah, so
stopped eating Cheetos.
If you want a fun theater experience, perhaps move to China is the best thing I can
clearly.
Neither of those movies sounded like they would be interesting though to me, but
they're Chinese. That's
not necessarily That's not necessarily. I'm sure. What does someone say about our movies that go over there? I don't know.
Well,
I'm trying to be an international solidarity kind of person.
Sure. Well, they keep shoehorning these Chinese ideas into ideals into American films, and it's just like, what was that? Oh, that's for the Chinese audience. Oh, okay.
Are you talking about Mulan?
Well, we saw how well
Sure.
Mulan did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mulan. Nobody liked it. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
You made a perfectly stale movie for
I
nobody.
liked it.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't the cartoon.
Don't worry, they're gonna re-release it when they get their new theaters, and everyone's gonna be able to have a chance to really go see it because it'll be on all 5 screens at the new Disney cinema.
The Disneyplex in Disneyland.
Right?
Although speaking of Disney, guys, and I have to chime in and ask, did you hear about Barry Jenkins, the Moonlight director, making The Lion King 2, the live action?
I did.
No.
I'm like, we had Lion King 2 and 1.5 and Timon and Pumbaa spin-offs and all this different stuff. Like, I know it was successful, but how warranted is this? I'm kind of at a loss a little bit, as great as Jenkins is as a director.
Yeah.
Is it a remake of Lion King 2, or are they going in it?
I was worried too that they're going to remake Simba's Pride, and I'm like, don't you dare touch that priceless gem. But no, apparently it's going to be like the history of Mufasa, which sounds
it's a prequel. It's like a prequel, but it's going to be simultaneous with like the prequel and then what's going on then. So it might be a mixture of two, but with the things of Mufasa mixed in through it. So
yeah, it's been described as the Godfather 2 of Lion King movies, apparently. So I don't know.
That's quite a film to compare it to.
I know, right?
No pressure.
Wow. I didn't watch the live action one, The Lion King. It didn't look interesting to me.
It wasn't.
Just the look of it. Because, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, you just got their mouths and it's like, the eyes aren't there. It's just, I couldn't. As much as I love big, like cats and stuff, I was just like, this isn't it. So I don't know why they would. I mean, I guess it did well, of course, but I just, like you said, like doesn't warrant. Right? Yeah, but but I feel like that was the hype of it, right? So it's like, is the sequel or the prequel is that going to do as good? Now that people kind of know what to expect, and I feel like a lot of people weren't feeling it. The way it ended up looking.
Who has kids? Does anybody have kids? I mean, like that's the real driver behind this. Did kids like it?
Well, it made 1.7. So
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot. That's a lot of lions.
I do think it was a lot of hype, though. I feel like it was the hype of it. People were like, "Oh my gosh, live!" I know you had Beyonce in there.
Aladdin made a ton of money too, and that was okay.
I thought that was way better than The Lion King, but that's just me.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I don't hear them talking about the what is it? The Revenge of Jafar or Return of Jafar sequel.
Right.
Live action.
I think they
and you got a bankable star in that movie.
So who's going to be the Dan Castellaneta to Will Smith? Who's going to be the Dan Castellaneta to Will Smith's genie? That Dan Castellaneta, you know what I mean? Because they recast the genie in Return of the Jafar.
Oh yeah,
and then they brought Robin Williams back for Aladdin 3. So who's going to be the genie in Part 2 for Will Smith to come back for Part 3? If they do,
well, they
because they recast
the voice. Right, it's a very complicated joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're just gonna throw a lot of money at Will Smith if they choose to do it. But I had actually heard that they when the live action Aladdin came out, they actually wanted to take I think there was a white prince in there who was kind of like a standout sort of performance. Some people felt like, and they were saying they wanted to give him his own spinoff somehow.
Yes.
I remember that was an initial thing. And people had a lot of problems with that because they was like, out of all the characters, you want to take the white prince and give him a spinoff. Like, okay. I mean, race or not, it just seems kind of weird. It's like, I've never heard of this prince in any of the Aladdin things. So why would that be a spin? Although that guy, he was in Into the Woods, and he's a really good singer and everything. So I would be for it, but
Into the Woods.
He's a talented actor, and it was the Prince Anders. So the guy was
Prince
good.
Anders. They wanted a spin-off with him, and I was like,
okay, like 30-second character, sure, give him a whole movie. Like, who cares?
But as I'm
Disney,
looking right now,
they can do whatever they want.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but as I'm looking right now, they did announce earlier this year that the Aladdin 2 live action is happening. So they're working on it. It's been in early production since the end of last year. So that's happening too. So because money, I guess. Why not?
Yeah.
If COVID has let me down in any capacity, it's that COVID would have been the perfect excuse to just silently kill so many movies that were already in production that clearly no one wants, and they have not pulled the trigger on any of them. It's like, come on.
Like who?
It's Avatar 5. We don't need that. Just silently sweep Avatar 5.
No, there's no way
Fantastic Beasts 3. Just let it go. Like, I don't know.
Aaron Anderson, $25. Thank you. Adam Sandler was a big deal when I was a kid, so I'll always love his stuff. Very nostalgic for me. Good show as always, y'all. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, Adam Sandler, it's hard to go through his work and not find something that everybody, like, at least tolerate.
Yeah. I mean, there's some stuff where I'm just like, that's not my humor. But then there's other things where I'm like, this is totally what I could,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Click, I love that, Lil Nicky was fun.
Sometimes you have to be in the right mood for like Waterboy or Little Nicky.
Yes.
But there's others that are just always good. Like,
Waterboy
and I love
was
Little
good.
Nicky. It's a little much sometimes.
Get in the flask.
Exactly.
Were you going to say something, Fuego? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm just trying to like find my little like windows to jump in and say stuff since I know we're on that slight delay because of me. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's obviously my connection. I love his comedy albums, actually. That first one, They're All Gonna Laugh at You, is hilarious. Second one with like, I am the GOAT and he just beats me and all that stuff. I mean, Sandler has shown the fact that he can be really raunchy, but he also can have that just like tender versatility. I mean, man, I've always dug the hell out of some Sandler, even though he's more hit and miss with the Happy Madison stuff.
Right. But...
Yeah. The Lunch Lady song was on there. Hanukkah, whatever the hell.
I'm So Wasted, where it's him and Rob Schneider, where he's like, "Oh, I'm so wasted, man. It's probably from all this weed I've been smoking." He's like, "Well, that was just a bunch of pencil shavings I put in a bag, so I think you're lying." And he just goes thing after thing, and it's so funny.
I haven't actually heard that. I'll check that out. That sounds funny. Zach, I love Big Daddy. Mr. Zach, Big Daddy's one of those that
that might be one of the ones where he has the most heart in it.
Yeah, that was heartfelt.
Yeah,
that kid spits and I guess
peeing on a public property together. Yeah.
Hey, they're making memories. Okay.
And I mean, also the fact that he gives jobs to all of his less recognizable comedic buddies. I mean, he brings on Tim Meadows and David Spade and Schneider and all those guys since he's maintained these friendships with them. And he's the one making 20-30 million a picture at Netflix. And then he brings on all his buddies and he's like, yeah, I'm going to give you guys work and help you out. So that's another thing. He seems like he's a relatively decent dude. I don't know anything beyond that, but
he gave post-Twilight Taylor Lautner a role in a movie. How many people can say they've done that?
I had a show where Nick Swardson performed in front of me. So Nick Swardson opened for me. And every time I see him in a film, I'm like, fuck. That could be me, I think. But no, I'm not jealous at all. 51st Dates, good one, Felix. That's another one that's quite heart-y.
I've actually never seen that one. I know everyone loves it, but I've never seen it.
That's what Drew Barrymore, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's another one with her reteaming.
Yeah.
It is kind of a Groundhog Day, isn't it? Oh,
yeah, because she can't remember anything.
Yeah, it's always the same day for her. Yeah.
I love that.
Pretty smart.
I don't know why I love that gimmick so much. I love that gimmick. Anyway, sorry.
Well, they just did it in what was it?
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs, yeah. Which
I haven't watched that.
I really like that.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's pretty good.
It's fine. It's okay to be wrong, guys. Don't worry, it's fine.
It's a little nihilistic.
Wrong opinion.
Well, I mean, don't you think it's a little nihilistic, Lindsay? For a period. Or like if they just
Oh,
embrace.
well, I mean, that's true. Yeah, I mean, but there's always that kind of the all is lost moment, or that's part of the hero's journey traditionally. Anyway,
It felt like it was there for a while, man.
that's fair. That's totally fair.
Thank you.
Well, but I think that those movies go there so well and they tackle that so well because it's such a good avenue, and I've talked about this before, to explore depression. So I think that and that leans into the all is lost moment really well, or at least it can. Again, like I don't think Live Die Repeat Edge of Tomorrow quite was about depression in the same way that those other ones are.
No. I had a good time with Live Die Repeat.
Oh, I love Live Die Repeat, and I love when like Star Trek or random TV shows do the repeating thing too. Like every Star Trek is
Supernatural did it.
Did that's a good one. Yeah, that's a great. Oh, anytime the Trickster's around.
Yes.
His movies depend on where he wants to take his family on a paid vacation. Yeah, he does. He does have a lot of exotic set pieces.
Yeah,
and he's always got like a knockout lead for his female counterpart, and it's just like, oh yeah, I could picture Adam Sandler with Salma Hayek. That makes sense. Sure.
Oh no, funny guys. You know, women love to laugh. I love to laugh. My boyfriend's also a stand-up comedian. I mean, he's also good looking too, but that helps. I mean, he's actually very handsome. But he's very handsome. But like, you know, he also makes me laugh a lot. So I can see it.
Well, what was it? Pete Davidson was dating what's her face for a little bit, and
Ariana Grande. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that one, but from Underworld.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, he was. For all of good for him. But I think that what has to do with the rumor of his, you know.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
Wait, what's the rumor? I'm sorry.
The rumor that he's got, you know.
Oh, he's a
eggplant.
Eclipse.
And that's the same thing with what's his name? David. Is it David Schwimmer?
David Schwimmer from Friends?
No, not Friends.
Okay.
David. He has his own late night show. Or not late night, but you know what I'm talking about. David
Chappelle?
No, short, blonde hair. He's in Adam Sandler stuff too sometimes.
Oh, David Spade?
David Spade. That's the rumor too, that he's got
a big dick, huh?
Mm-hmm. How do you know he had Heather Locklear? He's always, you know.
That's true. Okay.
We see him at the Grove. Shit. He always has a nice, you know.
Really?
Yeah, that's the rumor. That's it.
Well, the show that should be us next week. We're going to talk about
who is packing. Like, what's going on?
Huh? I don't. Thank you, Jason. Dropping $1 in the super chat.
Thank you, Jason. That $1 was for David Schwimmer's dong.
It was representative. Yeah. How did we get here?
I don't know.
It's all good. No.
It all started with Adam Sandler, and then I mean, we didn't even talk about That's My Boy or whatever the hell that one was with him and Sandberg, which was one of the most deplorable ones I've seen in recent memory. It was.
The porn star one? Or
no.
What's That's My Boy?
It was the one where Sandberg was his kid, and it was like the estranged partying father, and there was the whole subplot with the brother and sister banging each other. It was just not funny. It was like one of the few R-rateds that wasn't of the serious variety that Sandler has done in the last number of years, and it just didn't do it for me. But anyway,
I didn't see Sandy Wexler. I don't know. People said that was okay, but I don't know. I think that's where he plays a porn agent.
Okay.
An agent for porn stars or something like that. I don't know.
And they need representation too.
Sure. Isn't that like what's the difference between an agent for a porn star and a pimp? I mean, essentially
legality.
That too. But I think also, I mean, one could argue, I mean, aside from the exploitative nature of, well, there's exploitative nature in the whole industry, but exploitative nature when it comes to the porn industry, you know, yes, they have real actual sex, but, you know, they're still acting in it and whatnot. That's, you know, legal and whatnot. So, I mean, yeah, I think you could have, I wouldn't necessarily consider that a pimp necessarily as the same vein. I mean,
if they buy the hat, maybe, but
Well, yeah. All right.
I mean, there can be, honestly, if there was a reform in the porn industry, it could actually be all right. The problem is it's very exploitative for the people, particularly the women who are in the porn industry. It's very exploitative of them, and it's usually those directors and stuff like that who very much take advantage of those actors. But if it wasn't like that, and it was more like, I don't know, collectively filmed and things like that, it would be probably all right.
It's just interesting. You, like having sex for money is illegal, but if you film it, it's legal.
It's only illegal in certain places. Nevada is
certain states.
Yeah.
There's this documentary series called After Porn Ends that I've watched. That a lot of these porn stars get like really fucked up, and there was this one that like went to Christianity. She was so messed up, and like she was trying her best to make sure that people didn't find out. Like that's shitty. It's shitty if you're trying to like run away from your past, and it's just all over the internet. And
one of the young women from Boy Meets World, she does it now, but she kind of does it on her own. Like she owns it herself. She was the one in the later season, the tall redhead. She does a few of those movies, and
Matlin,
maybe.
I've only briefly watched that show.
She was in like the last 2 to 3 seasons, maybe the last 2 seasons. Like once they went off to college, and she was a roommate, and she does porn, but she films it herself, I think, or like she's very much in control of it. I mean, I think any industry can be exploitative depending on who is in control. I mean, one could argue actors are pimped out.
I know so many actress friends that have done, I mean, not necessarily porn, but gratuitous sex scenes or things like that, just because
I think it's stranger. It's stranger to act out a scene where you got that little bag over your business, and you have to like. I mean, every time I watch like when I just watched Requiem for a Dream, Marlon Wayans has a pretty graphic sex scene, and I mean, like there's a rhythm to it that. I mean, like in between, all I can think of is like as a director, as a creator, in between takes, like okay, you got to thrust a little bit harder. I'm not really buying that you're having sex. Like it's so bizarre. Like why do we even need sex scenes like to that extent?
I don't know. I think they're a little. I think it's gratuitous. I was like, why? We don't need. Just cut away. That's why I like some of the older movies where it went fade to black or something. It was like it was implied because it didn't need to depend on that. And what I also thought with this pandemic, that's the one thing now too they have to do, because they can't do that as much, or they better not, because that'd be weird with body doubles and stuff. You can't see anyone's face, so they'll have to rely more on the dialogue and the scenes and the storyline, and not so much, let's just throw in a sex scene or whatever when it comes to, or let's just have a heavy makeout or something. So I'm looking forward to see how some people get around that when it comes to their creative endeavors.
They should have fun the way Hitchcock did. Like Hitchcock would imply like a train going into a tunnel.
Which is the best scene ever, for the record. I love that scene.
Just there you go. That's all you need to know.
By the way, Chauncey, when The Bold and the Beautiful returned to filming,
they did body doubles. I know, yeah.
They used statues or like mannequins.
They also had people's partners come in too.
Oh,
that was another thing. They had like someone's husband come in and do the body double or whatever, and it's just like, all right. Or you could just like depend on the dialogue a little bit more.
What, you mean like actually write something?
Well, it could always be Orgasmo stunt cock, I mean, that's still some insanely amusing stuff. There is a great documentary that I watched earlier this year. It's called Skin. I believe it's subtitled the History of On-Screen Nudity, and it's like 2.5, 3 hours, but it just went from the earliest days of Hollywood through everyone from Marilyn Monroe to more graphic stuff like Last Tango in Paris, and all of the nasty behind the scenes stuff associated with that movie, up through even Blue is the Warmest Color. And when you don't know what you're getting into, like in like a full-on pornographic situation, I think that's where there's most definitely more abuse, I would imagine, that transpires, because those women or men or whatever are not signed on for something to that hardcore of a degree. And there was often this on-set pressure of your director or your DP or whatever, and they're just, I mean, you know, to make it sexier, make it this, make it that, whatever. And so, yeah, it's a sad situation when that sort of just abuse and, you know, mishandling transpires. It's really horrible.
There's that like unsaid understanding that is finally getting broken apart, where you know, Hollywood has a lot of secrets, and some of them are coming out, and you know, things people would either have to do or feel like they were obliged to do to possibly get work is it's alarming. You know, rumors about certain actresses getting parts for favors in return is kind of scary, and like some of like I said, you know, this is a tiny experience that perhaps isn't as comparable, but you know, I was shooting a film about how sex sells, and you know, the irony of the material was that, you know, we were going to try to avoid discussing sex. And I remember one of my actresses was like, I said, do you need my nipples out? And I was like, whoa. Nowhere in the script did I say anything about nipples. What do you mean nipples out? Just keep the shirt on. We're just writing a comedy. Slow down. So I don't know, like, if there's this like unwritten thing where like you go for a reading and certain films, like why do they need to see people topless for auditions? I don't know what my point is. I'm sorry.
Well, I know that sometimes for auditions, like, you're instructed on kind of what to wear, and it's rarely, you know, just jeans and a casual T-shirt. They sometimes get a little demanding.
Yeah,
I've seen the breakdowns that friends of mine have sent me and stuff like, because they can. It's shitty and it's horrible and it's evil and
it's kind of scummy. It's like really kind of scummy. Yeah. Felix says talking about sex scenes, and Fuego says DP.
Yeah, I thought about it right after I mentioned it too. I was just like, oh boy.
Yeah, directors of photography are very important when it comes to pornographic shoots, guys. Like, what's...
Wait. Is this breaking news? Batman now 2022?
Whoa.
That must have just hit because they were speculating. That must have just hit. I'm jumping on Twitter right now.
Hold on.
13 minutes ago, Dune drifting away from December to October. No, never mind. Here we go. 6 minutes ago. The Batman moves to March 2022 after Dune delay. The Matrix 4 lands Christmas 2021.
But they just keep pushing each other out of the way.
Pretty much. And it's the same studio, too.
So what I'm seeing on the Hollywood Reporter is that DC is shifting their whole lineup. So The Flash is going from June 3rd to November 4th of 22. Shazam 2 leaving its November 4th, 22 to go to 23 of June. Oh my God.
Wow.
Black Adam is moving from December 22nd of next year and is now undated.
That movie's never going to happen. Like, they have The Rock. Like, how has this movie not happened yet, guys? Just you have The Rock.
Yeah.
Wow.
Although the untitled fourth Matrix is moving up to April 1st of, excuse me, it's moving from April 1st of 22 now to December of 21. So that's not really that. The shuffle continues, everybody. Yeah, Jesus.
Musical movies.
I know.
Not musical.
I think it's going to be a minute before we are able to fully go into the theaters. And because of that, I think a lot of big blockbusters are just going to like we're seeing the shuffle. They're going to be kind of shuffled further and further back. But this is the time now for more indie, lower budget, like you were saying, like, you know, those kind of movies to be like, hey, they don't come out, but you can get us, you know, and you never know. You could have, this could be a great time for filmmakers who otherwise might not, who would get swallowed up by these big films. This is their time right now. So, I mean, I hope, you know, many are taking advantage of it.
Yeah,
That's a
I
really
mean,
good point, actually.
you look at this schedule, theoretically, somebody can go out. I mean, 28 days shooting schedule. You can go film something now and have it out by March and capitalize on this and just be like, fuck it, you guys aren't going to do anything. We'll make this little indie thing and have it on VOD before the year's over. Because there's everything's getting bumped, but there's just this void.
Mhm.
Even like B grade stuff is just not around. It's kind of, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Like you said, there's a void. I think it'd be really great if, we had some. I mean, I'm seeing some gems out there for sure, but even more should be able to like, hey, that's not coming out now. Go, or watch ours in December.
Yeah.
I think Netflix is kind of doing that for sure. But like I said, I don't know their model of making money. So I'm just wondering how they're cranking out everything they're cranking out the way they are. And like, I don't know what the profit basis is of that, but
They don't. They just don't make money.
I have thought about this. I have really thought about. I'm like, how do they make? Is it just the subscriptions? Because at some point, everyone's gonna have it. So where's the money from that? Like especially if you increase productions and stuff, it can't just be from subs. And they don't have commercials. I mean, there's product placement, I guess.
So this week, I got the urge to watch some Parks and Recreation. My timing was horrible, though, because literally the day before I got this urge, it left Netflix and is now a Hulu exclusive streaming thing. But it's not just basic Hulu in order to watch it. You need to have Hulu Live TV, even though it's not been on the air for like 4 years now. And do you know how much Hulu Live TV a month is?
How much?
It's like $65. Right?
Yeah, like $55.
$55.
$55?
I think
it might be 60. Go ahead, Fuego.
I actually think it's free on Peacock right now, which is the new streaming. So you have watch for free, stream all 7 seasons exclusively on Peacock. So they're slowly shifting their stuff to that Universal / NBC streaming service. It's just there's all of those prior commitments of this will be on this for these few months or for this year or so or whatever. But yeah, you can watch it for free on Peacock too. So
we're gonna
check that out. You save me money.
In about 10 years, we're gonna go full circle. Everybody's gonna be like, well, why not have it all in one cable box? Like,
it is. We're going right back to that. It is definitely going to that.
I
YouTube
literally
is coming out with something. YouTube is coming out with live TV as well. It was a whole thing for my parents. I was setting up. I got the Verizon Fios, whatever that thing is, which is whatever. But and then they were like, "Hey, we noticed we're like they said we noticed you're paying this much for this. You mean you notice you're charging me this much for this cable?" And then they're like, "Well, we can lower that by like half if you do for a promotional period, if you do YouTube television." I'm like, YouTube TV, is that thing they've been? I hope this isn't gonna get because I know this comes on YouTube. But like, I'm like, is this that free trial thing they were talking? I feel like it's something. They have like 80. They said they have like 85 plus channels and stations though. So I think this is also maybe the same thing Hulu Live is doing. So it's kind of like, what is streaming doing? Is streaming kind of trying to become their own in-house cable now too? You know what I mean? Like YouTube is about to do YouTube Live, which is like 85 channels. Hulu Live, which is maybe things like that too. So it's like, is everyone coming for Time Warner now? Like, I don't know.
It's sort of frustrating because when I started my channel, I didn't have to compete with NBC. And it sounds more and more like that's probably the case. YouTube, sure. If there are creators that make something of themselves, that's one thing. But like when like CNN, NBC, HBO, all these people have, it's harder. It's harder to get attention on this platform when there's multi-million-dollar productions being put out here.
I feel like it's a different. I mean, I feel like on what do you call it? Regular YouTube, like the
classic YouTube.
Classic YouTube. I feel like people. I don't know. Sometimes when I see something too glossy or too well, like produced or something. It feels a little weird that it's on. Like, I don't know. I feel like with YouTube, there's a little bit more about connecting with an individual. That's why I feel like you still have these channels where someone, you know, a talking head, and they have, you know, a lot of great response. And then there's someone who has a lot, and it's maybe not as many, because I think there is still that weird stigma that everyone kind of has. Like, if it's like this, why aren't you on network TV? Like, why aren't you on, you know, like, why, you know, like, if you're on YouTube, like, I want to connect with someone. I don't want something that feels a little like overly produced and like distant from me, you know? I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I feel like there's still, with YouTube, it's still that you part of it that's there for a lot of people.
Airplane mode has taught me. Yeah, airplane mode has taught me that these influencers perhaps should stay in their lane, because scripted isn't the way to go for people like what the fuck's his name? Suicide Forest. What the fuck's his name?
Oh,
Logan Paul or Jack Logan.
Whatever. One of them.
Well, YouTube was doing movies with him, right? When they were trying to do, when they were trying
The Thinning and The Thinning too.
Yeah.
Which was those movies. Did you see the second one?
No.
The first one's fun. I never saw the second one.
Yeah. And you had to pay $7.99, which was very weird, because people were like, well, why am I paying $7.99 to watch this exclusive stuff when these people have their stuff on for free? And the other one, it's a weird conundrum that these, and it just goes back to what we were talking about earlier about the money-making method, where it's like, eventually they kind of do have to go back to the cable thing to a certain degree, I don't know, to make a certain kind of money about it. Because if not, then they do things like this, like, hey, pay $8 a month and you can get this, because we need to make more money than what we're making by letting you watch this stuff for free, you know? So, I don't know.
Or like, even certain cable channels... Sorry. Or like even certain cable channels turning into giving like content early. Like I spent $5, I think, for a month of AMC Premiere, AMC the network, you know, that did Preacher and The Walking Dead, because I wanted to watch The Walking Dead season finale early. And yeah, that's apparently a thing now, where they'll give you some exclusive shows, and then you can watch shows even before they broadcast. So that's a new ploy that's being implemented by some of these cable channels as they try to push their own separate streaming add-ons. You're already paying for the channel with your cable plan or with your Hulu Live or with your YouTube TV, and then you would still pay even a few dollars more a month just to get content early. It's just nuts, man.
They all get greedy, and at some point we're going to be back to having, hey, you know what? We should just have a thing where all these channels are in one spot.
It really is going towards that. I think I feel like, give it a couple years and it's gonna come full circle, because it's kind of like they're gonna eat each other. Someone's gonna come out. I mean, you have Apple TV, that's still a sort of a thing, but is that really a thing? Like, how long does that work? Because they were just throwing that at everybody with the new iPhone or whatever. And it's like, and the same thing with Amazon, because Amazon, they don't make money from Amazon Video like that. What they make money from is throwing it into with our Amazon Prime membership that we already pay for, where we buy all the products. That's where they make their real money. And then they're like, oh, by the way, you know, watch some videos. But occasionally you got to pay $3.99 to watch some of those videos. Yeah. You know what I mean? So even then, you know, so it's, I don't know. I feel like, but it shows the lack of transparency sometimes with these corporations. Not that I have, like I said, I have nothing against Netflix. I love all, like, they have so much great stuff coming out that I enjoy. But it's they really do. But I do think there's a little bit of like, to think about like what we talk about, like what's the future of, you know, entertainment, of watching these things. It's kind of hard to gauge that when you don't know who is actually really succeeding right now. You know, who's succeeding with any of these methods. Can we say Netflix is? Yeah, they always get talked about, but we also know they constantly are in the red, you know, like a lot of streaming platforms, you know, so.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially when they don't reveal it, like you said, they don't reveal their numbers. So it's just like, they're a publicly traded company. So I think they should be reporting something, right? They have to be, because they are, right? They're publicly traded, aren't they, Netflix?
That's an interesting question. I will find out.
I want to say yes. I mean,
because if they are,
doing...
they have to report numbers.
Yeah, they've been doing their
in the red. Right.
Oh, right. Yeah. So.
Yeah, they are a publicly traded company with the stock currently worth $516.
Holy fuck! All right.
Yeah.
Well.
Something's all right then there with.
Holy shit! All right. So there's your answer, Chauncey. It's in stock prices.
No, that's it. That's exactly what it is, though, right? But we all know the stock is not the real economy, right?
Yeah. No, I know. I know.
Right?
No. The stock market is the
We're doing
banks
great.
that we invest in, and then the money fairies trickle the money.
Yes, somehow. And
Yeah.
you see, it's all like it's like wishing. It's hopes, you know, like that's what it's like. It's like wishes and hopes that this is valuable. This thing everyone's putting money in. It's not connected to labor. I'm not trying to get all communist on it, but it's like a lot of this is not connected to labor or anything. So it's just like, yeah, this is worth this much, but on what? How?
Yeah.
Where's the, like they're spending a lot of money. I know they're spending a lot of those that money that they're getting in investments, but how do they know they're making it? How do you make it back? I just don't know.
Stock prices are essentially theory. Like you're putting money into something like it sounds like it'll be good, so here's money.
Yeah.
Here's a ton of money.
And that's how you get the crashes, right? Because everyone's like, this is great. And then suddenly someone realizes this is not great. So everyone starts pulling out. You know what I mean? It's just it's like based off of the whims of people with money, you know, it's weird. People got, working people have stock, but yeah.
Netflix is like Bernie Madoff. We're going to find out that they were just fucking, or what was that company in Texas that really fucked a lot of people over? Enron. Halliburton.
Yeah, I guess remember Halliburton.
Yeah. Well, that too, but Enron, they had like 1,000 employees or some shit and emptied out their 401ks with their house of cards. So
Well,
I
was just gonna say I don't think Netflix is like house of cards necessarily, but what are you saying, Fuego? Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I know the delay. It sucks. I found some interesting information from the Business Insider where it's talking about the fact that Nielsen is apparently tracking minutes of viewership now. So they don't have like numbers beyond that, but at least here in the United States, they have that. And so The Boys was apparently the first non-Netflix show to actually crack that respective top list of streaming titles. But it's still like Cobra Kai and Lucifer and like Ratchet and a few others are still significantly ahead of them. So, I mean, even though Prime and Hulu and some of these other ones are kind of, they've made some grounds, they've gained it, whatever, made some leeway. Netflix is still very obviously the top dog, despite however much credit and notoriety that they're floating around, which is interesting. But it's still cool that, viewership data, as I'm looking here at the Business Insider, is being tracked to give a little bit more insight as to the respective stuff streaming popularity.
Right.
So.
Well, it's like Chauncey brought up. We know as streamers what maintaining an audience, like YouTube incentivizes people who have a long viewership because their eyes are on the website and they get to throw ads up through that time, and that is a source of income. Ads. You're hoping that you could draw somebody away from the show that they're watching to click on some ad, but that you don't have that element in stuff like Netflix or Amazon Prime. So why would minutes matter to somebody like them? You got your money at the door, so why count the minutes? I guess is my point. Like,
just for like maybe to renew a show. Or something, because The Boys just has its third season already coming. There's a spinoff now, so maybe that's more so for the companies themselves in comparison with the general audiences. Who knows? Maybe
it's to like measure
see
like
if tons of people are watching it. They're like, I should probably check that out. But
I wonder if it's like to measure like how many people are watching in one sitting versus like hey, they watched a chunk and then they watched another chunk. Maybe it's still, you know what I mean? Like this show keeps people in their seats the entire time. This people kind of come and go.
I can't tell you how many times I wake up to are you still watching this from Netflix?
Well, speaking of Adam Sandler, a few years back, I swear to God, I woke up like 3 times, like halfway through the whatever, the Hateful Eight, not the Hateful
Ridiculous
Eight,
Six.
the Ridiculous Six. Yeah, it's like I've seen about half of that movie just by waking up to it. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, what Netflix just automatically put it on is what you're saying?
yeah, just like whatever I was watching when I fell asleep just ended and rolled into Ridiculous Six.
Oh, Saving Private Ryan? How about Ridiculous Six?
Well, and there was that sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and there was that report earlier this week too that Netflix is apparently planning to raise their subscription price another couple bucks here within the next fiscal year. So they're just wanting more, man. Just bring on that cash. So
$500 a share. Fuck it.
Yeah, I just
honestly,
looked it up. The main thing is they say they make their money through their subscribers, I guess. I don't know how that makes it so they can produce all those shows though.
Yeah, they're
How many subscribers do they
have?
It's saying
it's a great question.
with the reported
182.
182.8 million.
That's worldwide though.
Yeah.
Okay, USA. Narrow it down. 72.9. And so what's the current Netflix rate? Like 12, 13? It's just I just get billed every month. I don't even pay attention to it anymore.
$13, I think.
Okay, so
Like the bottom line is 13.
Yeah, if you're not doing 4K or multiple screens or whatever. So
they say they spend 17.8 billion on original content in 2020. Yeah, in 2020. It was 17.8 billion. But they're saying it's not going bankrupt. They're just spending a lot of it. But it's like, is this all just to get more subscribers? Like, how many more subscribers do you need? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, there's 7 billion people on the planet, so clearly they've got a target number.
Well, they keep recycling, like, you know, their
by the way, 72.9 times $13 a month is $949 million a month.
So they're still a month, right?
Whoa. That's a sizable chunk of change.
Yeah, I was just crunching those myself.
All right, so
that's like
2 billion. They make that in 2 months.
Yeah.
All right, so 10 months of in the black, I guess.
Well, I mean, each executive clearly gets $5 billion, so you know that goes. There goes a lot of the extra money. So, yes, there's only 2 executives. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So it's about
just shy of probably about 11
billion per year. Yeah. All right. So the fuck are we talking about? Where's it all going then? Wait a minute.
I don't know.
Well, they're the ones fueling QAnon, so they're the ones buying the kids that get turned into the life juice.
They keep recycling their licensing. You'd think they'd buy something to like keep on Netflix, like every now and again they'll have Terminator. Every now and again they'll have Friday the 13th. And it comes and goes. Like you wonder why they don't just hunker down and buy something like The Office or something just to have as the Netflix thing.
Well, I think that's probably like studios being like, no, we'll rent this to you. We're not going to give you the exclusive rights, but we'll re-up in 5 years. But until those 5 years are up, you are the only one that has it. That would make sense to me.
That's what Disney did right up until they did Plus. They were like, we're backing out.
I think what we're also seeing is that Netflix is really trying to do its own original stuff too. Eventually, to the point, I think they're slowly trying to make it so that it's like a Netflix channel, kind of like HBO, kind of a thing. I think that's where they're really heading towards, which is why they're probably producing so many series and stuff.
That makes sense.
When I was in Denmark, Netflix played more like a cable box because Netflix in Denmark had a bunch of stuff from different channels, and they had stuff that was current. Like for instance, they'd have Fargo right now, and it would be up to episode 3. They it's really interesting outside of the U.S. the way Netflix
They've got the
works.
live TV Hulu package without the $55
right,
a month
exactly.
charge.
Just think of everything crammed into one thing. That's what Netflix is
Interesting.
Internationally. Yeah.
And I think as long as like it's probably like Google, like it's the same way that's like, oh, you need the answer to that, go Google it. Oh, what do you want to do tonight? I don't know, Netflix and chill until like there's like someone that can compete with Netflix and chill. Maybe it doesn't even matter how much they're worth a year because they're in the zeitgeist that much and they've permeated the culture to that extent that just
how did
makes
that
them
happen? I remember Yahoo was the thing you did to Google something.
Yeah, no, there was that for a bit. I always
I used to Yahoo to Google, but then suddenly it was not cool to Google through Yahoo, so I had to Google through Google.
But then you didn't have to Google through Google. Now you can just type what you want into the URL.
And then it just comes up anyway. It's just
Google,
fucking. It's all part of QAnon. That's it. Any? I think we're good for this week. Anything to wrap us up? Fuego, you look like you're cooking something.
Well, I was just crunching these numbers to
still.
What you got, bro? What you got?
Well, I mean, because you guys cut in. Well, I mean, you guys like cut in and out briefly, so I wasn't sure, but so 182 million times like what $14 a subscription, and then you times that by 12 months. That's like we're talking like trillions of dollars here. It's absolutely insane.
Your calculator can't handle the number.
It's pretty staggering. So. Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that I was going to mention was just curiosity. If you guys saw the Jamie Foxx Electro news, Tim apparently returning for this third Spider-Man. It was the one like news story that I was curious about. Are they going to pursue more sort of like Spider-Man multiverse, kind of like what they did with the animated film? Would that be a means of, because they already brought back J.K. Simmons and him playing a character from those first three films with Tobey Maguire. So. That was really the only like kind of nerd-centric sort of news that I was curious to hear your guys' thoughts about, because I thought both villains, and I mean between both Fox and Giamatti, I thought that film was just a major step back, and that's why Pascal killed that franchise and rebooted with Marvel. So
you cannot count Giamatti for that film. He was in there for like 3 seconds. Come on,
true. It's true. I mean,
they ate so much scenery during those 8 seconds.
I did as the Rhino, and I love Paul Giamatti, man. I mean, they just overstuffed the turkey like Batman and Robin style with that particular film. With them, like, let's just get so many villains, and I don't know. Fox is a great actor. I still haven't watched that Netflix film that he put out earlier this year. So I don't know. Returning as Electro with a better script. I'm curious.
I'd like him more devious. Jamie Foxx in Baby Driver. He's like a really good villain in that.
Yes.
I'd like a bit more serious tone to his villain character. It was a little, dare I say, campy for Amazing Spider-Man, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah,
called.
he was a little bumbling in.
Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they can somehow ground him a little bit and make him more sinister, I guess that would be cool.
That'd be interesting.
When was that Jared Leto movie supposed to come out?
Morbius.
Morbius.
Yeah.
Oh, Morbius!
I'm hearing about that.
Yeah, that's all hush hush now. What happened in that movie?
Interestingly enough, yeah. When I saw New Mutants, they still played the trailer, for it being a superhero film in theaters. So yeah, it's still happening eventually.
Yeah, it's saying March 19th, 2021.
Okay.
That might be able to happen, maybe.
Sure. We'll be done with Wave 2 by then.
Well, yeah, March would be a little too early, I guess, because they're saying like more closer to spring. But even then, going straight to a theater, like on the capacity that they would be hoping.
Well, Biden will be in his second month, so maybe he'll have wrapped up, how to do this properly by then. I mean, because China's bustling right now and
thriving.
Yeah. So with the right leadership, maybe we'll get back on track.
Yeah.
I like your optimism.
It's still science, It's like at this point he'd have to also inherit all the wrong moves, right, that have already taken place in the mismanagement. So it's kind of having to clean up stuff to get us even back to before. So
playing catch up.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm optimistic about other stuff for the spring. I'm not optimistic necessarily for going back to full capacity too. Then again, sure. with Morbius, they could probably do VOD with Morbius. We know him, but I don't know. I don't feel,
yeah, Joe Sixpack doesn't know him.
It's funny that they're doing him with this like Blade reboot, because he's always been like super emo Blade to me. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Without the Daywalker thing. So that's the difference. So he's not a Daywalker like Blade. But who knows? Maybe we'll get a Morbius versus Blade movie. That might be kind of fun, like vamp on vamp.
No, with Mahershala Ali, dude.
Yeah, that I'm really fired up about.
Same.
I am excited for that. Mahershala is a fucking boss.
Yeah.
I feel like Wesley Snipes could have still played him. But
you got
I feel like he really could. You got friggin' Keanu Reeves coming back for The Matrix, came back for Bill and Ted. Black Don't Crack. Wesley Snipes could have played him because he's half human, half vampire. So he's supposed to age just slowly. So he could still have played him. I don't really understand why they couldn't have just gotten him to play him. He still looks pretty good.
And Dolomite, he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was great. He's a good actor. Yeah. One of my favorite movies of him and Sylvester Stallone, Demolition Man, right? He played, he's great, honestly. He's had his mishaps and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like they could have got him back for Blade. I thought it was a little disrespectful that they didn't even think of having him in it and stuff. Yeah. I don't think you needed to pass the torch. There's so many. You have Tom Cruise coming back for friggin',
Top Gun, which is so weird.
So it's just weird to me that it's like they had to replace Blade, but it's like in so many other movies, they let these people like age and come back at 50, but you couldn't have Blade where Wesley Snipes still actually looks really good for his age. Like, I don't know. It just seems a little silly to me. You don't need to reboot it. I don't think you need to reboot Blade. I think you just needed another installment that was better than the third one, right? Third one.
Yeah. Trinity. I think.
Yeah.
Trinity. It was so bad. Triple H, the wrestler, was in it, and as much as I love Van Wilder, he just felt so out of place.
Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel was in it too, movie. Right?
Yeah, both of them were.
Yeah, but
he even said he still wanted to do it too. He was down to do it.
Yeah,
and
it was just
very
silly.
similar. Yeah, very similar to if guys like Keanu, as you mentioned, if Hugh Jackman and Robert Downey can continue playing those characters,
right?
Why the hell not? He's kind of ageless in that regard too.
Yeah. And they could have had it so that, the new actor could have came in somehow, maybe, getting his mantle. Just look at it. They have at time there was supposed to be another, for some reason, what is it? Harrison Ford's one where they keep making that one.
Blade Runner?
No, the other one.
Indiana
Jones. He's coming back at like 60, 70. Bro, what is the thing? And you mean to tell me Wesley Snipes in all his glory still fit as ever can come back as Blade? I don't know what the reasoning was behind that. No shade to the new actor. I think it's unnecessary.
Did they announce it when Wesley Snipes was still an unstable name? Because seems like
because of the tax stuff or whatever it was.
Yeah, paid more than our president, by the way. But,
exactly.
Never mind.
Exactly. Someone owes Wesley Snipes an apology for the fact that he had to go off to Africa to avoid paying taxes. And this guy's, you know what? Don't give me that.
You see what I think would have been
New Jack City. New Jack City, Wesley Snipes.
Hey man, Passenger 57. Passenger 57 was dope too. When he was like positioned as like the main like just black action hero, I was so all about that in the 90s, man. I mean, yeah, Wesley was badass. So
Yeah.
I mean, just to say it again because I love it. Demolition Man. I'm sorry, but like, I love that movie.
One of the great ones.
I will venture a guess as to like if I had to venture a guess, and if I had to play devil's advocate, I maybe say like maybe they switched because like the tone's going to be so different versus Disney versus what the Blade movies were. But I think
they were
he could handle
R-rated,
the switch. You know, like he's a talented dude. He could be slightly less violent on screen. I don't. That if I had to guess, it'd be that. But I do agree with you.
Disneyfying it a bit.
Say it again.
You think they might Disneyfy it?
A little bit, you know, probably tone down just some of the gore and some of the stuff, which will suck because God, those movies are so glorious and bloody.
And it wasn't even gratuitous almost. It worked.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think Disney's going to do a blood rave at the beginning of a movie or anything like that, because that's still one of my favorite beats in any superhero movie that I've ever seen at the beginning of that first film. It's so awesome.
You're just not ready for that switch. That it's so good. Yeah.
Nobody's talking about Major League. He was in Major League too.
Yeah.
He was in Major League. That's right. Oh my. Wow. I haven't thought about that movie in I don't even know how long.
I love that movie.
That's the one with
Rene Russo?
Yeah, Rene Russo, Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen. Yeah.
Tom Berenger.
Yeah.
Too long.
Wow,
thanks for everything. Yeah.
Julie Newmar, with him and Leguizamo.
And who was the other?
Oh, it was Rest Peacefully. It was Swayze.
Yeah.
Oh no shit. Huh. Okay.
Wasn't he also in one of the Expendables movies?
One of these what movies?
Expendables movies?
Snipes?
Yeah.
I think he was one of the sequels. I think.
Okay. I could be wrong about that.
I haven't seen any of them, unfortunately. But...
Yeah, I kind of tapped out of the first one. It's like I get
Sylvester got to do Rambo again. You know, there's just so many examples. They just disrespected my guy, and I just, he's a film legend, and you know,
he's got to write
respect.
He's got to write it. Stallone owns Rambo.
That's true. Although I thought with Blade, Wesley Snipes had a little bit more at the time in the first two or something. He had a lot more control or something. Maybe that.
I think he was a producer.
Yeah.
Maybe he was a producer. I'm curious now.
Back-end shit.
Yeah, but they did something really dope in the comic books where they brought in his daughter. I want to say Fallon was her name, and so they it was like a passing of the torch sort of situation. And I thought that would have been awesome for a fourth Blade movie, for him to just pass along his respective mantle to his daughter and just have her be the badass hunter herself. I think that could have been cool too.
Yeah.
But they've obviously taken a different approach, so whatever. It is what it is.
They'll learn when it thanks. Anything else? I have to pee like it's yesterday's news.
I think it's
No, you're good. You're good, man.
Amazing. Claire Foy and James McAvoy to star in a
I
mystery
saw.
thriller. Right? Okay. It's called My Son. And apparently McAvoy will not be given a script and will have to improvise his way through the detective part of this. It sounds amazing.
Bonkers, man.
They have to shoot it in order then.
I guess. Yeah. Good luck, guys.
Only he doesn't have a script. Everybody else does.
That's just what this says. The Hollywood Reporter. Who knows? It's just the headline too. I literally just found this. I haven't had a chance to read the article yet. Maybe the article, says like, okay, it's not really not given a script, but it sounds amazing. I want to see that. Suddenly, CP doesn't have to go to the bathroom now. He's curious.
No. Somebody's saying I'm deleting comments. I'm not. I didn't delete any comments about Joe Biden. I don't know what happened.
How was Jim Carrey as Joe? Did anybody see that?
Yeah, it was okay.
It was good.
You played it up a bit.
Yeah, I feel like he played
more so than Woody Harrelson.
yeah, more so.
I feel like he played Joe in the time when during Obama's presidency, when he would do that thing where he'd like go low and stuff. Like I feel like he played it in that era. But like the Biden we have now is a little bit more reserved, a little bit more because he's playing the more I'm the calm guy. I feel like Kerry played him more like when he got to be the less calm one in comparison to Obama's calm. Because that was one of the reasons why they got because Biden would tell you to it straight. Obama would be more that, and I feel like Kerry was playing that more than the current Biden we have now. If that makes sense, I don't know.
Okay,
it was good though. It was a funny skit. It was a funny cold opening. I thought.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, SNL's always, and again, Chris Rock was the host last week. It looks fantastic. You forget that he was on that show forever.
Oh yeah.
ago.
Yeah, that was like a resurging era for them in the 80s when they had
Sandler, Farley,
and Farley and those guys.
Yeah.
Oh man, Chris Farley, I do miss those days.
So if that it might be Daniel. I'm dead serious. I didn't delete anything. It might. Did you curse when you talked? There's words that. Like if you say drum dums, it'll get automatically caught. There are certain words that you can't say. I know I have 2 or 3, and drum dums is one of them that have to be cleared. I don't know if YouTube has something when it comes to politics. I genuinely, I am all for all sides of an argument. So I'd be a giant hypocrite if I deleted it.
You could just say I drunkenly deleted it if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. So whatever you had to say, if you want to shit on Biden, go ahead. He's not my first pick for president, but he's certainly higher than the other choice. So, there's that. Yeah, YouTube might have automatically deleted it. I genuinely, dude. I seriously, I didn't touch it.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for him to say it again. I don't want to go off the air and now you have the floor all to yourself, sir. So
is he still there?
I hope so. I hope he didn't leave. Like I genuinely didn't.
Oh, I feel bad. Mm-hmm. Daniel's been a fan for a long time. I hope.
Yeah. I wouldn't, especially with a regular like that. I wouldn't have done anything like that.
I mean, like if White Tim just suddenly stopped watching, that'd be one thing. But Daniel Hammond, no, we can't go.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I love you, White Tim. I don't mean it.
Yeah, did you mention one of the hate groups or something? Is that because there's certain hot buttons that YouTube just does not let through.
Mm-hmm.
And now the delay is killing us.
No. Sorry.
What happened?
All right. I'm trying to give by time. Any last words before we go? Neither Biden or Trump are my first pick at all. I was just telling everyone to look up the viral YouTube creepy Uncle Joe. Oh, yeah, when he touches everybody. Yeah.
He's a close talker.
Yeah.
That's just how he is.
He's a little grandpa. Yeah.
What was that movie where some guy, or was it a show? I think it was Seinfeld, where someone was a close talker. It was Seinfeld with the dude from Beverly Hills Cop, and he's a good guy. I actually like him a lot of stuff, but he was playing the close talker guy, and everyone's just really uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's what he is. I feel like he's a close talker. I don't think he's
I think he's just like a old fashioned creepy grandpa. Is like
wasn't it Judge Reinhold? I want to say.
Yeah, someone just said it in the chat. Yeah. He's a close talker.
For the record, best name ever too. By the way, Judge Reinhold. That's amazing.
Well, yeah. Now everybody's pouring in with it. Judge Seinfeld, Judge Reinhold.
Yeah. Fast times, man. Fast times, Rich Monetization.
Well, you have to think of what the bar is. The guy who I thought would have been the nominee for president by now, but he had to retire from all things politics. Apparently,
I'm sorry I couldn't get on the ballot, CP. I really tried, man. Like, maybe next time. I mean,
what's the guy from Minnesota who took a picture in front of a woman with his hands like this, and he had to?
Oh, Al Franken.
Al Franken. I thought Al Franken.
You thought he was gonna get to president?
I thought so, because the way he was talking to people during
I see it happening.
All right, well,
I thought he was a great president to have like the con.
No, he's good, but I don't think they were gonna let him be president. No, there's certain aura.
Yeah.
President that, but then again, we do have someone else now, so I don't know how.
It's all broken now, Chauncey. It's all broken.
Yeah, it really is. I actually applied a rule that no longer applies. So maybe,
Yeah, I mean, in the 80s, we had Ronald Reagan, the actor. If I'm going to do a little Back to the Future quoting, so,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Daniel, no need to. Don't, dude. I'm sorry your message got deleted. It's all good. It's all good.
Just blame me. Just don't worry about it. Just blame me.
I'm glad you asked though, because I wouldn't delete it. I'm glad you didn't get pissed and leave. Thank you for bringing it up, but no, I don't delete stuff like that. I if anything, I always encourage people to have their own opinion, and that's what makes us civil, is listening to the other side. And
unless you're a Nazi, then I won't listen. I don't listen to Nazis.
I do love like all those memes going around. There's like, look, guys, just because we disagree doesn't mean we can't be friends unless it's on race.
Exactly.
Well, he was talking about Biden.
I
know. So yeah, with that, we're just about done this week. We went over 2 hours with no real movies to talk about. How about that?
Not very much. Yeah.
Excuse me. I briefly talked about Enola Jones. Enola Sure. Oh my God, I can't even say it. I'm done. I'm not even gonna. I flubbed twice. I'm out.
Well, I think I'm gonna join you, Fuego, as long as my uncle is up to it. I might watch. What the fuck's it called? Power, whatever.
Possessor.
Power Rangers.
Possessor.
Possessor, yeah.
Power Rangers.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll be able to talk about that next week. Who knows?
And I'll watch all of Power Rangers by next week in order so I can talk.
That's a lot of Power Rangers.
So are we talking Ivan Ooze, or are we talking
I'm always going to talk about Ivan Ooze. I love me some Ivan Ooze.
Oh, children.
All right, I need to go to the bathroom too, so we should wrap up.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We'll be back next week with more cancellations and pushbacks.
Yeah.
Say goodnight.
For all your cancellation news.
Watch more horror. Month of October.